this video, we're going to talk about how to make recessed player boards for the Maglev prototypes. We have recessed boards in the game to make sure that these passengers don't move around when they're placed in their different locations. Player boards probably represented one of the biggest challenges in creating prototypes. I would say maybe half of the testing of this was done without any recessed player boards. And so in those cases, you just had to rest these passengers all over this board. So all these places where you can see these nice recessed little areas, they were just flat areas, and you had to put your passengers in the right spot, and it was very, very easy to accidentally bump them and jostle them and move them out of the way. The original design that had recessed boards was very, very different than this one, and everything was in different locations, and just a lot of different things had changed with it. What we ended up doing is printing this exact same player board twice. The top sheet would be the one that gets cut, and the bottom sheet would be the one you paste it on top of, exactly in the same location. A couple things we had to figure out. We had to figure out how thick to make that top sheet, how thick to make the bottom sheet, how much we needed to have kind of it blade on the bottom to go past the edges where we're cutting, so if we're off a little bit, if it mattered. The laser cutter can put tiny little burn marks around things sometimes. The longer it takes to cut, the more likely it is to have burn marks. And we have things like an air compressor that blows the flame away and things, but you still see a little bit of that and it doesn't look good. To avoid that, we are cutting everything upside down. So everything is placed down inside the laser cutter, and the laser cutter cuts on top, and that prevents any burn marks from appearing on the front side. Through playtesting, we discovered also that we couldn't just have the color that you want for the passengers underneath there, because once they were in place, you couldn't tell if you had the right color there or not. And so we ended up putting these outlines around. The outlines presented their own challenges because there had to be a certain width, but they couldn't be too close to the edges of anything else. And of course, they have to be exactly right, because if they're off, they're gonna look really, really bad. Had to use a laser cutter for this. There's really no way you can do this manually with a X-Acto knife trying to cut these out or anything else. It just doesn't work. You need a laser cutter to prototype recessed boards. There's really no other way to do it.